But you can't police people for being anti-Israel or pro-Israel. You can police people for violating the law. And we have seen some of that with some of these protests.
Okay, so you agree that people who break in and vandalize a building should be prosecuted?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just checking because you did help raise money for people who did so on January 6th, which was, impeding an official proceeding, breaking into a building that they weren't allowed to be in, and vandalizing the Capitol.
Well, Caitlin, I know that this is the obsession of the national media to talk about what happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago on January the 6th.
It's not an obsession. I'm just seeing if it's a double standard.
That's CNN host and lifelike animatronic Caitlin Collins doing her best to trap Senator J.D. Vance with a gotcha question, only for it to blow up in her chiseled face. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the Republican senator struck a nerve with the newest model of NPC journalist by revealing Democrats' favorite fear-mongering tool. Watch as Collins mugs for the camera and tries to deny basic observable truths.
And look, Caitlin, I know you're worried, and I think justifiably so, about
this isn't about me, Senator. I'm asking questions about you and how you would feel about this.
I'm trying to answer the question. I appreciate if you let me. Here's been my basic argument about January the 6th. If you beat up a cop, of course you deserve to go to prison. If you violated the law, you should suffer the consequences. But there are people who protested on January the 6th who have had the complete weight of the Justice Department thrown at them when, at worst, they're accused of misdemeanors. Now, again, there are people who are accused of worse offenses, and that's a problem. But you can't have Black Lives Matter protesters who rioted and vandalized go free when you have people who were actually peacefully protesting on January the 6th who have the book thrown at them. That's the double standard that I'm most worried about.
Yeah, I don't think there's an obsession with January 6th, but it is a legitimate question. And given what you just said there, and as Trump is getting closer to, as he's a presumptive Republican nominee.
Absolutely true. There is a double standard, Caitlin. It just happens to cut in the opposite direction. I mean, let's not forget the liberal riots at Trump's inauguration that injured dozens of police only to have the charges dropped, or the riots in May of 2020 that injured 50 Secret Service agents only to have the charges dropped, or when they protested outside the homes of SCOTUS judges, which is a felony, by the way, no charges brought, despite this culminating in assassination attempts on multiple judges. And let's not forget, as J.D. Vance mentioned, the mostly peaceful protests that cost cities millions of dollars because Democrat DAs, you guessed it, dropped the charges. And now what are we seeing with these protests on college campuses? Surprise, surprise, no charges.
He has said he would pardon, it's considered a blanket pardon for everyone on January 6th. Are you saying that shouldn't happen? People who beat up cops should be excluded from that?
Well, I think what President Trump has said, and of course he can speak for himself, but I pay pretty close attention to what he says. And I think what the president has said is that people who have this double standard applied to them should be pardoned. And you shouldn't have the Department of Justice letting violent offenders walk scot-free, and then you have a misdemeanor trespassing case from January the 6th. That person has their life ruined because of the lawfare of the Biden administration. I think that's a totally reasonable standard for the president to apply. Hopefully he does get reelected. And I think, frankly, there are some innocent people who have been caught up in the lawfare of the Biden administration, Donald Trump included, if we're being honest.
Rand Paul made a great point with these kinds of journalists. They can't help but insert themselves into every single story. Go back and watch any interview with this lady. You can tell she's not listening. It's just going in one ear and out the other. The only thing she's focused on is mugging for the camera like she's an anchor on The Daily Show and mentally prepping for her next pathetic gotcha question. It's one of the reasons why she's so easily tripped up by conservative guests. Thankfully, it makes for great content. But let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on J.D. Vance? How do you think he handled himself? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!